Hi everybody, my name is Richard McMunn from the interview training company passmyinterview.com, and in this training video I'm going to teach you how to pass your HR assistant interview, and in particular I'm going to give you my top 5 interview questions and answers. So before I get into those questions and answers, a very warm welcome to this tutorial. My name is Richard McMunn, and like I say, I'm going to focus on my top 5 HR assistant interview questions, and I'm going to go through the suggested answers to make sure you pass your interview. Please do, if you like the content, give the video a thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the red button below the video, and that way you won't miss out on any of the weekly tutorials that I am uploading. Okay, question number 1 of your HR assistant interview. What qualities and attributes do you have relevant to the role of a HR assistant? 2 tips. Tip number 1. Before you answer this, make sure you read the job description and the job advert for the HR assistant role you're being interviewed for, and look to match it. Now, I've already read the HR assistant description, so I'm going to give you my sample answer in a second. But tip number 2, my advice is to use the following keywords and phrases in your answer. Tell them that you are effective at planning and organising. Tell the interview panel that you have great attention to detail. These are really important attributes of the HR assistant role. Also, tell them you have an ability to continually develop, and you can also follow strict rules and guidelines. And also, tell them you have an ability to resolve complex issues and problems in a time-sensitive manner. Okay, so those are the things that we need to focus on. So here's my sample answer for what qualities and attributes do you have that's relevant to the role of a HR assistant. Here we go. First and foremost, I have a passion for dealing with people, and I also enjoy working to a set, organised structure where maintaining confidentiality is essential. The role of an HR assistant requires you to have great attention to detail, an ability to follow rules and guidelines, and also the ability to plan your work effectively whilst working to strict timelines. I believe I have all of these skills and more. Now, in previous roles, I've already demonstrated a strong ability to communicate effectively, manage diaries and documents in an orderly manner, whilst also dealing with queries and issues to a successful resolution. If I am successful today at interview, then I feel positive that you will be satisfied with my performance, my strong work ethics, and my overall contribution to your human resources team. That's a really solid answer to that interview question that you can use during your HR assistant interview. Okay, question number 2. By the way, if you need to pause the video to take notes, then feel free to do so. Question number 2, describe a time when you maintained confidentiality at work. Now, confidentiality is really, really important. It's a very important aspect of the HR assistant role, and I would refer to it during your answers. Tip number 2, within your answer to this interview question, cover the following 2 things. Number 1, give them a specific example of when you maintained confidentiality at work, and then explain your understanding of why confidentiality is really important. So this is how I would answer the question. Let's have a look at a sample response to the question. Describe a time when you maintained confidentiality at work. Here we go. One day, whilst in the office, a work colleague approached my desk and asked to speak to me in private. We sat down in a quiet room and she confided in me that another member of the team had been making inappropriate comments over a prolonged period of time. She didn't know what to do and she asked for my advice. Whilst I won't go into details relating to the allegation she was making, I offered my full support and suggested ways of making the situation stop by following the company guidelines in relation to inappropriate behaviour. I never discussed the situation with anyone, and I maintained confidentiality at all times. I fully understand the importance of maintaining confidentiality, not just in relation to the type of situation I have just described, but also in respect of employment law and when dealing with sensitive information, data, and documents. So that's a good response to that question. Let's take a look at another one. Describe a time when you resolved a difficult problem at work. So being a HR assistant, or even if you are a HR manager or team leader, you have to be really good at solving problems. You'll be doing it on a daily basis. 2 tips. Tip number 1, problem solving is a core skill of the HR assistant. Be sure to give a specific example here. And in order to do that, my advice is to use the STAR technique when constructing your response. And that is, tell the interview panel what the situation was, then tell them what task needed to be done, then tell the interview panel the action you took, and then finally explain the result. And I'll show you how to do that right now with my sample answer to the interview question. Describe a time when you resolved a difficult problem at work. Here we go. I was involved in a situation at work one afternoon where I volunteered to help another department within the organisation solve a difficult problem. Someone had accidentally lost a large number of important computer files that were being used as part of an important project, and it was vital the files were retrieved as soon as possible. Now, using a calm and logical approach, I contacted the server company to explore the different ways we could attempt to retrieve the files. I managed to find out a way to retrieve the lost files by utilising the system restore facility, and after a couple of hours, all of the files were successfully recovered, saving the project in the process. Whenever a difficult problem arises, I always take a calm and methodical approach to solving it by using fast action and logical thinking. So that response utilises STAR technique: situation, task, action, and result. Next question. Name the most important skills an HR assistant should have. Now, tip number 1, there are 10 effective skills of an HR assistant, which I'm going to cover in a second. So use all of them in your answer and then explain how you already possess these skills. So here we go. Name the most important skills an HR assistant should have. Now, amongst others, there are 10 really important skills an HR assistant should possess if they are to do their job both professionally and competently. Now, these are an ability to plan and organise your work effectively. You should be able to follow and adhere to rules and procedures. You should have an ability to maintain confidentiality at all times, be able to work under pressure, manage multiple tasks concurrently, be able to provide exceptional service, stick to deadlines and targets, keep up to date with industry relevant changes and law, and be prepared to analyse your own performance and then continually learn, improve and develop. So that's a great answer, and I like the way that you're saying that there's 10 things. So the 10 specific things, and that shows that you know what the skills are for a HR assistant. So like I say, pause the video, take your time to write them down if you need to. Next question, when have you resolved a dispute at work? So as an HR assistant or HR manager or team leader, you will constantly have to resolve disputes. So tip number 1, give a specific example, again using the STAR technique, of where you took the lead to sort out a problem or dispute in the office or workplace. And ensure, this is important, that you state that you followed company policy when resolving the dispute and refer to it. Here's my sample answer. In my previous job, I was working in a team with 8 other people. As the weeks progressed, it was becoming clear that 2 members of the team were developing a dislike for each other. I constantly heard them trading petty insults in the canteen, and it was starting to impact on the performance of the team. I decided to take action to resolve it for the benefit of the organisation. Now, before speaking to the co-workers, I read up on company policy in respect of dealing with disputes before arranging a meeting between the pair, whereby I expressed my concerns and I requested they resolve their differences calmly and amicably. After some uncomfortable discussions in the meeting, which I facilitated, they both agreed to put aside their differences and try and work together in a professional and friendly manner. Now, following that meeting, they both started to develop a strong working relationship and friendship, and I'm pleased I decided to get involved and sort out the dispute between them. So that utilises the STAR technique. It's a great answer. And there's always disputes at work, but it's those people who step in and sort it out calmly and logically who are the ones who have the right skills and attributes to be a HR assistant. Okay, so if you'd like more HR assistant interview questions and, more importantly, answers, then click the link below the video or go to the website passmyinterview.com. Now, this is my website. I'll quickly show you. I have a free online interview training course. So you can click the Get Free Access button. It's got over 550 really good Trustpilot reviews. I'm helping so many people pass their interviews through this course. It's great. Like I say, you can get free access. There's over 50 training modules. And for every possible interview question there is, I give you an answer, and I'll help you beat the competition at your interview. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, say hi in the comments section below, and I wish you all the very best in your pursuit to passing your HR assistant interview. Thanks guys for watching. All the best.